Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day, because I'm certainly excited to be back here in the beautiful city of Nerdshire, where things, as always, are going okay. You might notice that my voice is ever so slightly shot. Yeah, my throat is not having a good time at the moment. I'm on the brink of losing my voice, but it's been a couple of days since I posted an actual video and I feel terrible. So the show must go on to one degree or another. What you might not have noticed, however, is that there was a live stream here on YouTube a couple of days ago from Nerdshire where we built what you can see before you. We built this castle. We put some more roads in. We went ahead and built a little park over here. Basically, the stream was there to grow some parts of the city, to deal with some of the population issues, deal with the death wave, but unfortunately the city is not going in a circle. You have point 1, which was Demand Master. It was caused by Demand Master. It's the demand being weird. And then you go around the circle a little bit, demand starts picking up, but then a death wave starts coming in, which cancels out the demand because as people die, more people move in, so the demand never rises. So the city keeps going between having about 170 and 200,000 people, because in the space in between, either the population comes back up, or it goes down, or whatever happens. It's a bit of a mess. Now, one thing I want to say right at the start of this episode as well is that I have gone ahead and posted the save file from part 30 of this series to the Steam Workshop. It is going to be linked in the description of this video. It hasn't been working for everybody because I didn't post the parking lots that I used for the workshop, so I'm going to post those as well so that you can load the save. That is going to be the save as it appeared at the end of part 30 of this series. I posted the link to Twitter a couple of days ago, and people seem to be kind of keen for it. I'm also going to try and remember to post a collection of the mods that I'm currently using, one of which is actually Demand Master. I'm not using it right now, I'm just using it to keep track of these numbers, but if needs be, I may very well switch it on to start growing some of these areas. And the problems that we'll start dealing with in the city aren't going to be so much the population issues as much as it'll be not enough goods, or not enough education, or not enough services, garbage, etc., etc. We're still going to have problems to deal with. I just don't think demand is necessarily going to be one of them, and that's completely my fault, and I do apologize. Anyway, with that said, the airport has been slightly tweaked. I've put a couple of details in here. It's a little bit weird looking. I did what I could with some basic stuff, but I like it. Today, however, I want to go ahead and I want to start filling up some of these spaces. I want to make sure all these areas have services. I want to start getting people living out there. I want to get some shops in there. I also want to go ahead and maybe expand up this way a little bit further, and maybe start touching up this island over here as well. And if we have time, and if my throat will let... Hold on a minute. Why am I seeing pollution here? We should not have pollution there. That's not a thing that should exist. That is kind of odd. Now, where is pollution? Is this it? Yeah. So, it's very weird to me that pollution is picking up, because the Eden project should stop that from happening. So if we just pull up that done again, we'll see a lot of people get a bit annoyed, but maybe that resets the Eden I don't know why we're seeing this pollution. That is actually really, really concerning, because we have water coming in over here. And there's no water pollution whatsoever except for those bits. So hopefully we'll see that go away. Hopefully that was just a bit of an issue with the Eden project. I'd also love to know why it's saying that someone's dead there. That's a little bit interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and see if we can expand up around this way. So what I'm thinking is that I don't know if I want a key to come around here. I don't know if it should. Although maybe it could come right around to at this point and then end. But I don't know if I want to bring big buildings out this way. I think big buildings should really go sort of like that, where my mouse is going there. So that should be where a road goes, and the buildings are in the inside of that. I feel like that's the way it needs to go. So let's play around a little bit with some terrain editing here. That is not the tool I wanted. We'll bring the terrain to the same level the whole way around so we can get some keys in there really nicely. And what we can do is maybe bring them to... Maybe we will bring them around. We'll bring it around for the time being, and if we decide later on that we don't like it that way, then that's fine. But that right there will do. So we'll go and grab the keys and bring it across sort of like that. And that's totally fine. We can sort of curve it around a bit more, kind of like that, and we can maybe bring them straight down like, I realize I have key anarchy turned on, so if I really want to, I can do that kind of thing right there. Which honestly I don't mind too much, as long as we can get a good curve going there. So if I go like this, and then go like this, that's actually not so bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the terrain options again to just level all of this out and get rid of some of the little bits of weird terrain we had going on there. So so that should work. That's going to be a nice little space for the keys to go. I would like to bring them forward just a little bit, so we'll use Road Anarchy to do that. I want to bring them under there. So that from above, they end under the bridge, and I think that looks kind of cool. So the next step is going to be to adjust this road over here. We'll turn Anarchy off so as not to mess things up. By the way, that road goes underneath the train tracks there, which I think is a pretty cool change to make to all of that. But what I want to do here is actually bring this road sort of straight along for a little bit, then gradually curve it that way. So it's going to curve around like that, and it's going to come right out. So I want it to go right out like this to, say, that point. And maybe to... I don't know, about that point perhaps. Maybe what we'll do is we'll have that come in. We'll reconnect these first. So you're going to come straight off of there and go straight to there. We can use the Move It tool to lower this bit of road down to make that slope a little bit more reasonable. We can maybe do the same just here as well to make that slope a little bit more reasonable. And that right there, I think, I mean, yeah, it's a bit messy, and yeah, we'll fix that, but right now I think that totally works. Now, what I want to do is I do want to get some buildings alongside the train tracks. I like the idea that the train tracks are going to be surrounded by various buildings. So we're going to have just a regular road go the whole way down here. So down to that point right there, and that should be totally fine. Now what I'm thinking is we can actually bring this road around a bit more and sort of to... we could bring it to there. Maybe what I'll try instead is we'll go to that point and bring this straight across to about there. Bring this back slightly, bring it straight forward, and we'll try and get a little curve going in there, which I think is... okay. It's a little bit weird, but it'll do for the time being. So what I'm thinking here is we bring this kind of road here. The large avenue with grass comes up to that point, and we curve it like so. And at some point, we're going to turn another section of this avenue into the large avenue with grass. But first, we're going to go with a pretty simple layout. We're going to go with some grids. I know they're not exciting, but it's what we're going for. This is some pretty prime zoning right here. It's right on the water. I mean, okay, we put industry over there right on the water, but you get the idea. It's some pretty prime zoning, so we're going to go with grids, and we're going to make sure we can get plenty of people in here so we can bring that population up a little bit, because the population, like I said right at the beginning, it is struggling a little bit. It is not having a good time. So, that's my plan. I want to bring that population up as much as I can. So we'll go for that. We'll bring a road up through there as well and straight across. And that'll work for the initial bit. What I want to do in here is I want to make sure that I'm getting some green space. So I want to turn that whole section into a big park. I think that could be kind of nice. I do want to do a lot more of that as well. At some point, maybe today actually we could do this. I want to tear apart a large part of Conflicted Park and turn it into an actual, well, park. I want it to be a nice big green space, sort of like a Central Park looking thing. That's my thinking. I think that could be really nice. So let's bring this road down to here for a little bit. And that'll work. That right there will work. We can even bring a road down to here slightly to get some zoning in that space, which, I mean, that would be a pretty miserable place to live. So, you know, I kind of pity the people that might live in there, but that's just the way it's going to be. I also realized this right here should probably be turned into that kind of road. I'm going to basically surround the park with the large avenue. So something like that will absolutely do the job. So let's go ahead and start decorating. Let's go ahead and start with just pedestrian paths going the whole way around the thing. Just nice and simple. So this is going to come down to, let's see, what way is this going to work? We do need to turn off road guidelines, but if we start there and go to there, we can connect those together. That's going to be connected, that's connected, that's connected. And just the whole way down, I'm going to have these connect. I'm going to have to use the Move It tool to get them to be a little bit closer to the road there, so we avoid that weird looking gap between the path and the road. But that's actually kind of easy. We just drag it like this, and it absolutely works. So what I'll do is I'll go along this entire section of pathway, make it look pretty, get it to where it needs to be, and then we need to put some bushes in there. We need to put some trees in there. We need to put some benches in there. It's kind of going to be like a throwback to the old Let's Build days, where I would detail the stuff. I mean, I get it. The last couple of episodes have focused a lot on aesthetics, but I'll be honest, that is one of my favorite things to do in City Skylines is, you know, look at the aesthetics and just make everything look really, really good, or as good as I can possibly make it anyway. So that right there will work. The next thing we need to do is actually going to take out the trees, because we don't really want all these random trees in the park. And then we need to figure out where the paths are going to go. And what I'm thinking is we have a path come off of here, and it's going to sort of curve right through to about that spot. Actually, to about that spot. And what I want to do is I want to come off of that like so. And I want to see if I can just get a nice big sort of circle going right here in the middle of the park. So kind of like that and like that. So that's going to be right in the heart of the park, because what we can do is come off of each point of that and connect it like so. So there's going to just be something really cool in the middle of this area. I like it. Okay. So the next step is going to be getting bushes around this, which I'm going to use the prop line tool to achieve. And don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. I'm just demonstrating how this all works, demonstrating how the tools work. Then we'll have a little cut in the video. We'll come back and you'll see whatever it ends up looking like. I'm not going to say it's going to be a masterpiece, but it'll be something. So this is quite simply how this works. We have a row of these go down there, and a big old row of them going down to about there as well. And we're going to do that the whole way around, and then we're going to put some trees in, and this is going to look, hopefully, kind of beautiful. Okay, so this kind of works. It's pretty simple, but I like it. We got some sort of stone arches at all the entrances. We got some benches and tables in there, lots of trees. Just, you know, it's quite simple, but it's a green space. Also, population is currently down to 157,000 people. So that's considerably lower than it has fallen before off of a death wave, which is great. Just beautiful right there. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. We're gonna start using Demand Master in just a moment to go ahead and bring the population back up and to fill up a lot of these areas that we've been working on for the last couple of episodes. I did talk about this a little bit in the live stream that was posted a couple of days ago, or yesterday. I think it was hosted a couple of days ago, but it was posted like the day before this video went. It doesn't matter. Point is, I did say that if needs be, I would start using it. And I think at this point, I've waited around a lot. I've been waiting a long time for the demand to recover, and it kind of isn't. And I get it, you know, that is entirely on me. I shouldn't have used Demand Master originally, but at this point, it's killing the flow, I think. To be honest, I really think it's just sort of killing the flow of what I'm wanting to do with the city. I think it's killing the flow of the episodes. Also, I know I'm putting a lot of shops in here. I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's going to be one sort of big strip of them through there, which will be absolutely surrounded by residential zoning. So big strip in there, big strip sort of done this way as well. But at this point, I'm making effectively an executive decision to run Demand Master in order to stop things from being completely just non-existent, to be honest, because nothing is happening. So I'm going to fill in a lot of this space. I actually still need to put some pedestrian paths in some of these spaces, but I'm filling in a lot of this, and then we're going to switch up the demand. We're going to get people moving in, and we're going to see if the traffic can flow around these areas or not. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested to see if the traffic can actually handle itself. I'm not interested in sitting around for, at this point, easily 12 hours waiting for the demand to come back up. I'm really not. It's not all that interesting. So that right there is going to be an initial band of zoning. We're going to do the same just in here and on these stretches of road and along there as well. On the avenue over here, I'm going to throw in some offices because I think that'll be kind of interesting. These power lines can be moved at some point. But what I'm going to do right here is throw in a few more shops. We're going to have... Actually, we're not going to bother. We're going to go for just completely residential on a lot of this space. That is all one district. Maybe Woodland Heights is going to be a completely residential block of zoning. Because to be honest, we have got a lot of commercial around here already. You know, we have high density commercial just opposite the all the residential stuff right here. So, well, we can take residential zoning off of the avenue over there actually, but I think everything in here just residential like so. We do need to look at elementary schools actually. There's not a lot of school coverage out here. So, we'll get an elementary school just there for a bit of added coverage. And we'll get one done there for a bit of added coverage. We're going to need one down here for sure. We'll put it right next to those. Actually, we'll put it sort of... let's see. We'll put it right at the corner of this road, right there. And we'll get another one just there. So that'll give us a bit more elementary coverage. Maybe not a lot, but it'll be something. We're going to put some low-density commercial along the avenue there. Take out that little bit too. So just like so. And just like so as well. Maybe bringing that around to at that point. I think that's a better ratio. It's a lot of residential zoning to not as much commercial zoning. I'm going to do the same with this block of zoning as well. It is going to be largely residential. I'll throw in some offices there and there though, since we have got a large fire station right there. In fact, maybe we'll throw those offices in, then commercial along the avenue as we've done before. So something just a bit like that should absolutely do the job. And then all of this gets filled in as well. And just like that, it begins. Ladies and gentlemen, people are finally, at long last, moving into these areas that we've been working on for so long. I'm really, really hoping that what we're going to see here is the traffic flow in a way that makes sense. I'm hoping we're going to see these areas grow in a really good way. I'm hoping that traffic's not going to back up like crazy. I mean, here's the thing. It will initially, there will be initially a great deal of tailbacks because we're going to see traffic flow in from out of the city to start populating these new areas. So there is going to be something going on to begin with. We're going to have to just deal with that. We do also have a tailback on this road. But that is kind of unrelated as far as I can tell. That is to do with traffic trying to get onto this road to maybe get up onto the highway. It's a bit of a tricky one, but I honestly, I've wanted to see this for a while. I've wanted to see people moving into these areas. I'm really pleased that they are finally moving into those areas. It makes me so very happy. So I'm down for keeping Demand Master on for a while. Possibly indefinitely, to be honest. I'll hold my hands up. I'll say, you know, I messed up. I shouldn't have used it when I did. But, you know, we do what we have to do. You know, what's happened has happened. It messed up the balance. And that's it. You know, it's completely on me. And I regret that whole thing because it's messed up the balance. But what we're going to do is we're going to move forward. And we're going to, you know, deal with the issues that will arise from so many people moving in so quickly. We're going to need to make sure that jobs are there. We're going to need to make sure that services are there. We're going to have to get public transport sorted out this way. So there's a lot that still needs to be managed and a lot that still needs to be done. I just don't think population management is the most exciting thing, regardless of it working or not. So hopefully y'all don't mind too much, but Demand Master is going to be here to stay. Anyway, let's get these areas filled up a little bit. I don't know if I necessarily want people living right next to the Gendru Memorial right there, or the cathedral, as I call it. It is a castle, but I refer to it as a cathedral because I don't think it makes sense for a, well, actually, I say I don't think. It does not make sense for a castle to be there. There wouldn't be one. That literally makes no sense. There wouldn't be a castle there. There's no defensive reason for it to exist in the middle of this open field. It would be on a river if a castle existed there. And what's more, it would be a lot bigger than this as well. So we're going to say that that was, at one time, a cathedral, and that it isn't, at this time, a cathedral, as it is in ruin. Anyway, let's go ahead and get some zoning in here. These parts, I think, along the highway, or sorry, the train tracks can be high density. Maybe we'll do some offices down this way a little bit, just to fill in some of that space. Maybe we'll do a bit more high density there, and then low density for the rest of it along the tracks. Just sort of like that. And, well, do we want to go low density? Because everything else is kind of high density around this area. You know what? I think we do. I think we want to stick with low density. Oh, I actually really don't know. I really don't know if we want to go low density on this. I don't think we do. You know, looking at it, I don't think that's the thing we want to do. I think we want to go high density zoning on these to, you know, have it kind of match the high density stuff over here and match the stuff we've done with other waterfront properties where they are frequently high density. So everything around here is going to be high density. I want a bunch of housing in here just to bring up that population. We have the commercial nearby to, you know, be places for them to shop. I think we're going to want some offices in here as places for them to work. But I think other than that, we're pretty much set for that area. And it does have water, so really, at this point, we're waiting on these areas filling up so we can see how the traffic handles all of this. So we can see whether or not we need buses coming out here. We're not going to do metros coming out here, that's one thing I will say. Oh, that totally reminds me of something I absolutely forgot. I went and got a few more metro stations. So we have some that have, you know, 4 platforms. There's one with 6 platforms in here, I think. Maybe there isn't. I know there's a few different styles and different shapes and layouts of the way the platforms work. So the reason I got that was because it means that in places like in here, where we have these 2 platforms, these 2 stations opposite each other, we can actually replace those with one 4-platform station. Which to me makes a lot more sense. So I think we're gonna try and do that. I'm also thinking I kind of want to go for like a long station in here, but I don't know how reasonable that's gonna be. Maybe we're not gonna get to do that. Either way, I mean, we could throw this in. That's an option, but I'd rather go with this one. Or sorry, this one here, I think would make more sense. So we're going to do that, basically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have to move the stations to those points, I think. Maybe just a little bit further down. So delete those sections of track. Then throw these in. Or I only need one, really. I don't know why I'm saying these. Just throw that one in. And then what we need to do is we need to connect up the tracks. So like that and that and that and that. And obviously, you know, that's a bit of a turn there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this up and connect it across like that. It still has the right angle. It just, you know, looks a little bit less, I don't know, silly? I don't think silly is the word I'm looking for, but I think you get my point. Maybe what we'll do instead, actually, is that. So sort of, you know, that kind of thing, and that kind of thing. So that'll work. Then all we need to do is move the red stop to there, move that green stop to there, move that green stop to there, which it doesn't seem to want to let me do, which is a bit interesting. We might need... Oh, there's an enabler that you need for this stuff, isn't there? Yeah, I may have forgotten to get a... I may have forgotten to get the multi... I think there is a mod you need to actually enable these. Unless I'm missing something here, but I don't think I am. I think I've totally forgotten a certain mod. Okay. Well, in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to leave that and come back to it. We'll come back to that next episode to fix those up. Because I don't want to completely mess up my stations at the moment. So yeah, basically the takeaway from that is that soon enough we are going to be doing some changes to the metro system. It's just right now I totally messed up and we're not going to be doing that. What we can do, however, is come out this way because we don't actually have any buses out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, in this case, a bus line that'll bring you to the train station. So I want this bus line to sort of flow just the whole way around this area. You know, coming up to there. It actually could come through here. So we'll have it stop there. We'll have it come in and stop there. We could have it come up into some of those spaces. We'll not bother too much with that, though. We're going to have it come down to there. And we'll have it come over to there and to there. So that's just going to loop around that area, picking people up, moving them to where they need to go. And that should be fine. What I want to do on this side is a very similar thing, except it's going to start in this spot. And it is going to come down and into here. It's going to come through this space. It's going to have a stop over there. It's going to have a stop down there. It's going to have a stop, I guess, there as well. And back to there. So those two have a point that they can overlap with. And what I'll do to hopefully get that to work a little better is we'll throw this right there. So, that basically gives us a bus lane, which looks a little bit weird, but I think it'll work. What I can do is actually go in with this and say, you know, you can go there and there. You can go, you know, there and there. Then on this side, I mean, there, I guess. Then you can go there and you can go there. So that should be fine. We want to do similar over here, so you go to those two and you go to those two. Then you go to there, and these two sort of do their thing like that. It does mean these guys are going to have to merge a little bit differently, but for the most part that should be fine. And that'll give us a nice little point for the buses to do their thing with crossing over between those districts. So we are sort of, now that I look at it, missing a lot of this space up here, so I think I'm going to move a bus stop up to there. And that should be fine. And what I can do is actually go into my roads here and put a crosswalk at that point and that point. So people can actually cross over to get to the bus stop on that side of the road, which I think is going to be really important. We do have a bus stop here, so what I'll do is we're going to bring this around. We're going to bring this into this space to there. And we're going to bring it down to there, down onto this road, and up to there. And again, that should be totally fine. I realize we could totally go with the crosswalks in here as opposed to going for, you know, separate types of road. That does introduce traffic lights, but I think for the most part we'll be okay there. And I think what I'll do is I am actually going to just change this back. We'll change that to have trees on it so it looks nice. But I am going to just do crosswalks there and there. So that totally works. That's totally fine. And I really hope we see people use the buses. I really, really do. We do need them in this area as well, so we'll keep that kind of simple. We'll have a bus that starts here and goes up and around into this space, goes down to there, up to about there, and comes down this avenue, back through here, and over to the train station. Then on this side, it's kind of the inverse of that. Comes along. It can go down through the area. It can come down onto this road and then up to there. And once again, keeping it simple, we go for a crosswalk and a crosswalk. And that really should just make things nice and easy for people to get on the buses. Hopefully. We'll see how that goes. Either way, I have to say that this area, I'm really, really liking how it looks. I'm really liking the fact that, you know, it's built up. I'm so happy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really happy that, you know, it exists, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I'm really happy about that. Now, a lot of the shops that we put in are having issues because they don't have enough workers. That will actually get fixed. Basically, a lot of people moving in are going to be, you know, going and sort of doing their thing. They're going to be looking for jobs. What we can do is say school's out in Cedar Square, so those guys might be more keen to work in the local shops. But we'll see how that goes. Either way, I am so pleased with how this is looking. And we actually have people wanting to use the buses here as well, which is pretty cool. We have a decent number of people. Do we have a decent number of people walking around these areas? Not that many in there. I'm actually worried about the highway. What's the highway looking like right now? Not that bad, actually, which is... Oh, there we go. There it is. So, actually, a lot of that's garbage trucks. I was going to say that's largely going to be people moving in, but a lot of that is just garbage trucks. So we're going to have to deal with that at some point, but, oh, wow, yeah, no, that is, like, all garbage trucks. We really need to figure out an alternate method for traffic around here, because it's still a pretty major problem. I mean, that's a large part of the reason that death waves are so troubling, because the hearses just can't get to where the people are dying. And that is kind of an issue. Kind of a pretty big issue as well. I will say, a little disappointed that no one's going through my park right now. You know, just to be honest, but I also imagine part of the reason for that is going to be because no one's actually driven up there yet. Like this guy here. He's like, oh, my building's done. Beautiful. I can finally go to where I want to go. Oh, this guy as well. What are you driving? The new buggy. You're going to the shop till you drop center. Okay. I don't know if you want to drop, but... Alright, whatever. So, in some other news, we are having some slight issues with traffic coming from the airport. There's a lot of it. Like a serious lot of it. Good lord. There's so much traffic coming from the airport. So what I'm thinking we might have to do here is, number one, bring out some of these power lines. We don't need all of them going that way anymore. And that will free up some of the zoning on these roads. And number two, I'm actually thinking roundabout, to be honest. Like, legit thinking that a roundabout might very well be a solution here. So, we're gonna go for a 3-lane highway with sound barrier. We'll actually start with regular one-way roads, so it's easier to do. We'll go out 5 units. We'll go up 5 units. And it's basically going to be one of the standards. So it's like a 10 by 10 roundabout is what we're going for here. Might not be big enough. It's a distinct possibility that it will not be big enough. But we're going to see what happens with this roundabout. So we want to bring this down, and we want to turn on road guidelines so that that can link to there in a rather interesting manner. Interesting. Let's bring this back a little bit and sort of down to there and in. And we'll see how that goes. We'll see what traffic ends up doing with that, because I'm kind of curious to see if that helps at all. It might not, but I mean, in theory, it should. In theory, we might very well start seeing some good stuff happen there. I also realize the airport doesn't have power right now, so let's maybe see if we can fix that. So that's going to come into there and go straight to there. I mean, the traffic's moving. That's kind of the important thing here. I think what we're also going to do is come in here and change that up for that kind of road. So all that traffic's coming in on one lane, which admittedly this isn't the most efficient roundabout in the world, because what we've got is, you know, a pretty sharp turn that people have to make there if they want to get onto it. And then a pretty sharp turn going out over there. So really, if we wanted to make a roundabout that's a bit more efficient, we need to go in and actually change the roads completely. So that needs to go back, that needs to go back. And what we need to do is have, you know, 2 lanes go to there and 2 go to there. Unfortunately, that messes up the entire roundabout, which is a bit of an issue, as I'm sure you can tell. So, what way are we going to make this work? Because I do want to make a roundabout here. I'm just desperately trying to figure out what the best way to have the zoning, not the zoning, but the shape not go weird would happen to be. I'm wondering if maybe it would be a case of using anarchy. I'm wondering if road anarchy would, with that being on, would that cause the shape to go weird? Let's find out. So what we want to do, again, sort of in theory, is that. So yeah, that keeps... Why does that happen, though? That's incredibly annoying. Because that, in theory, could totally work, you know? That right there would be exactly what this needs. I guess I can use sort of the freeform stuff to change this up a little bit and maybe make it a roundabout again. But I don't know. I don't know how likely that's going to be, because this is getting real weird already. I think, like, that right there is as close as we're going to get to having a proper roundabout. And it is certainly something. The annoying thing is that would work. Except for here. This bit's a mess. But annoyingly, that would work. I think we're just going to have to stick with a regular roundabout, though. I don't know if we're going to get the choice to go for something a bit more interesting at the moment. And that kind of sucks. But I think what I want to do is I want to start looking into more interesting, I want to look into more interesting road layouts in general. So we're going to come back to this roundabout idea for sure. Because I really do want to start looking at some interest. Oh, for God's sake, that went a bit weird, but it'll do. Like I said, I want to look at interesting road layouts. I want to see what we can do with that kind of stuff. I'm also going to set this to be an asymmetric road right there and flip it around. Because what we can do is we can set the speed limit on the asymmetric road to be 80. Which I want it to be. So 80 and 80. Then on the roundabout, we'll do 70. And we'll see how that goes. So that should totally work. We do need to get power back through here. That's for sure. But there we go. So that, in theory, should let traffic flow in a fairly reasonable manner. I do hope. I really hope it works. I really hope airport traffic can get to, moving properly. I really, really do. As for all of this space, though, I mean, I have to admit, it makes me so happy. Like I said, it makes me so happy seeing this full. I think the last thing I want to do before we move towards wrapping things up today is come in and just zone a bit more commercial along these avenues. Turn off anarchy. Get a bit more commercial in there just to sort of block off the big open space here. But actually, it looks like airport traffic is moving really well from this. So that's perfect as far as I'm concerned. That is absolutely beautiful to see. Oh, we got a fair bit coming down there. Let's see how it handles it though. Because it's all merging into different lanes because it's all going to different places. Which I really enjoy. I really enjoy the fact that, yeah, it merges into the different lanes. If you're going immediately left, you go into one lane. If you're going around the roundabout, you get into another lane. That's perfect. That is exactly what I want to see. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. I'm also thinking, though, that part 40 of this Let's Play is likely going to be the last episode of the mass transit focused series. So what I'm thinking is that I want you all to go into the comments and I want you to throw out your ideas for what you want to see happen in these last episodes, in these episodes that are building to part 40. What do you want to see added to Nerdshire? What do you want to see me build? What kind of management do you want focused on, etc., etc., all that kind of stuff. And then as well as that, I'm thinking there's two options for the next series, because I want there to be another series. I want to go and have some fun with City Skylines on another map, with some different stuff, with mods from the beginning. So, are we gonna do a heavily modded Let's Play series where we're doing the management and all that stuff? We'll never turn on Demand Master. Or B, are we going to do a creative Let's Play series where I will build the city with an aesthetic focus in real time? So there will be some time-lapse sections in there, but for the most part, it will all be done in real time. So it won't be like my previous Let's Build stuff. It will be me talking you through the process of what I'm doing, rather than commentating over a 20-minute speed build. So be sure to leave your answers in the comments below. I do apologize for the state of my voice throughout this video, but, it happens. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you kindly for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!